It's Luke W coming back at you with my buddy Clint Wallace. This guy's got some serious success going down with Amazon. I've had him on my channel a previous time, and we're bringing him back because he's just killing it just all the more. And Clint, can you tell us what you're doing? Can you show us some stats on your phone, man? And we're gonna dig deep and just see kind of what you've been doing to get these numbers, man, because it's crazy.
Yeah, we'll start off with, I guess, the usual screenshot. Today, so far, we got 44 units. I don't know if y'all can see that far, but I think it's about 11,000 in revenue. Our sales have been going up and up and up these past few days. So that's like a 45% margin. So it's a pretty good chunk of change for a week. And then that's one store. Then my other store, I'm actually out of stock on 2 products, but one of my products is actually still going. And I think I've sold about 8 or 9 of those a day, which is about normal. So 9. About normal. So I got 2 stores going, and it's awesome, man. I didn't ever think I'd be here, or maybe, I thought Amazon was a scam, of course, but with some hard work, man, you can make it happen.
Yeah, that's insane, dude. 11 grand in 7 days in revenue with a 45% profit margin. So you're looking at near like 4 grand a week or something like that?
Yeah, 4 grand a week, and our sales are continuing to go up. So that's crazy.
Dang, that's insane. So I just got a couple of questions we can start out with, and anyone that's going to be tuning in can always drop some questions. But pretty much we're going to jump into kind of your sales and what you've been doing to get to this level. But I just want to ask some basic questions like, what's your why? Like, what's the fire that got you into Amazon? I know you've only been selling since, what, January? So just a couple of months, really. And what got you to this point, and what made you want to do it?
Yeah, I actually, man, I started looking at Amazon a long time ago, and I never really, I guess, got fully into it. And then in November, I was at a dead-end job. I hated my operations job. I was an operator at a plant, great money, hated my job, wanted to find a way to be able to, sustain myself, me and my wife, and not have to work for someone else's pay, or I don't want to have to work and money goes into another person's pocket. I hated that idea of working under someone and they're getting all the money. I'm getting paid $28 an hour, and they're getting, the other $60 or $70 that's my worth. But, I got laid off in September. It was crazy. We switched jobs, thought it was going to be better, got laid off. So, bam, got hit with something. And I said, I need to pick up Amazon again. So, started watching actually Luke's videos, and he kind of like steered me actually to Tanner J. Fox's course. So I went that way. Took his course. I would say Tanner J. Fox's course is pretty basic. Honestly, I don't know if he's going to update it here in the future. I don't know what his plans are, but, I wouldn't recommend taking his course, but it did get me started. So that's part of my story. But, I kept watching Luke's videos. You get on YouTube and you really immerse yourself, and you really, try to learn it. And it's a business. You have to treat it like a business. You can't just, throw something up there. So yeah, man, my why is like to support my family, and to eventually get my wife to quit her job and have financial freedom. And, a lot of people that are older than us they're gonna look at you and be like, Amazon's not a business. Amazon, it's an old age of they want to go to 40 hours a week. You want to work for someone for 40 years. You have your little retirement that they're telling you is going to last you till 80 years old. And if you think about it, you work from like when you're 25 to like when you're like 60. And that's like 40 years of your life, you're never going to get back. And then you have retirement, and then you die 20 years later. So it's like, man, what are you going to do in between that 20 and 60? Are you going to make a difference in your life? And that's kind of what hit me at home. I was like, man, am I really just going to sit here and be someone else's like drone, or am I going to make a difference? And I hope it continues, but man, it's crazy. It's been a ride.
And the biggest thing is that now in this age, like, the internet is taking off. Amazon's basically monopolizing e-commerce, and it's just unbelievable at the rate that it's growing. And that's why becoming an Amazon seller is like extremely important, to learn these skills to sell online. It's not just Amazon. After you learn this, like, Clint's already jumping into Shopify, eBay, all these other things. And once you learn one realm, once you can start mastering one form, it's just that much easier to start. And that's the way the internet's going. That's the way the future's going. So those that are looking to start, like, it's not a better time than like right now, today. And as Clint was saying, like, he took Tanner's course. I took Tanner's course when I first started, and I mean, it was basic. It was 33 videos long. I just like looked at his and I realized like I could make something like this myself, and I literally did. And I literally like just
Yeah.
launched it today, man. 65 videos. So you heard it here first, but
A lot more content, probably.
a lot more content, just everything that I've pulled from 3 other courses that I've taken and just all of my personal experiences. So it's all there. And I mean, I got someone like Clint, you know, that's also giving me all this intel and what he's been doing to kill it. So can you share with us a little bit kind of, I mean, anyone that's just starting to sell on Amazon, like what is something that you can tell them to just start getting the sales velocity? Is it ranking with keywords? What is it that you need to do? That initial launch phase,
I think launch is super important. You know, calculating your launch, and you know, there is a way to rank for PPC. I've done it, but it kind of depends on your product. If you really have a unique product and you really have something that people are going to want, and maybe you made the product like completely better than the competitors, then you can probably use PPC to run it. But I don't like to take my chances with PPC and, you know, 2 weeks later I have no sales. So I just go straight hard launch. I actually use JumpSend on my first product, and I'll never use JumpSend again. I didn't like it. You get a lot of hijackers from it. I did not like it at all.
Yeah.
Yeah, gosh, they jump on your listing and then you have to email them. But then I started getting into Viral Launch. I like Viral Launch's software, but they're a little too expensive for me.
Yeah.
So then I went to ZonJump, and I've used ZonJump the past 2 launches, and I've seen tremendous results. And I think the biggest thing with ZonJump is that they actually run, like, their traffic comes from Facebook. So it's like a Facebook ad. Yeah.
Ooh,
so,
okay.
Yeah, so recently I just found out, I mean, like I said, we learn all the time. Like, Luke's telling me things, I'm telling Luke things, and, you know, you got to keep learning, and I'm continue to learn. And someone told me that, you know, in Amazon's algorithm, they actually count it more as outside traffic when it comes from outside.
Definitely.
So, yeah, so I use ZonJump, and it's like $2 extra a unit. So if you give away 100 units, it's 200 plus your cost of your unit. But I'm really aggressive. Luke knows this. I have I started selling in January. I had like 2 failures, and I already have, those products are sold out and gone. I'm not starting them again. And now I have 3 more products on my personal store, and then I started another product with an investor of mine, which was an awesome idea, and I'm really glad I did that.
Wow.
But, yeah, I'm really aggressive. I like to be aggressive, and I think aggressive launch is I mean, of course reviews matter, but to get ranked, I think an aggressive launch, and I'm not talking like give away too many units. If your first guy's selling 300, you know what I mean? You only have to give away 10. Maybe you want to give away 12 just so you can rank above him. And I also heard that, you know, with sales, they say sales velocity a lot, and that gets thrown around a lot, and it's actually, Amazon ranks sales history better. So I think someone messaged me the other day on Facebook, was like, hey man, I did my launch and I gave away 50 units. I was going to give away 100 units total, and I gave away 50 day 1, 50 day 2, and I'm not ranked. And I'm like, well, like Amazon wants to see you do that for 10 days.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? They don't want the spike. So, I mean, those are some tips. You be aggressive and make sure you know the right number. And I do a 10-day launch. That's just the way I do it. If I'm, my thinking is if I'm going to launch it and spend the money to launch it, I'm going to do it aggressively and give it a chance. You know what I mean?
Exactly.
Like if you don't have the capital, then don't go waste all your money on a launch.
Yeah. So. And about launching, is it wise to, I mean, the Facebook traffic, that's really good because I know you said JumpSend. I went on JumpSend's website today, and literally it just shows all these products that like private labelers are selling for a low price. You can go there and get FBA ideas. That's almost a research method, but
yeah, I actually use that sometimes.
But no, that's pretty.
Yeah, that's true. Very true. And I know that ZonJump, I think if I could find it, I could find it if I tried, but their Facebook is I don't know, it's some kind of something deals. And if ZonJump doesn't like advertise it, but the reason why I could find out, I can message one of my buyers, say, hey, where'd you get the product? You know, if they had a discount, and they would tell me, but I'm not going to go look for it. But I mean, that could be another research technique. Like you said, with JumpSend, you find out that website, that might be a gold mine of products.
And that's important because driving outside traffic into your listing from Facebook, from Instagram, Pinterest, anywhere else is going to rank your product higher. Amazon loves external traffic just like any other big website does. YouTube likes traffic getting drawn from other big entities like Facebook. So I'm going to ask you, what are your plans with moving about your business? Are you marketing yourself on other platforms? Do you do YouTube videos for your products or anything like that? Or
No, not yet. I do run Facebook ads. It's very low. It's like $5 or $10 a day. But the only problem I have with Facebook ads is you just don't know if it's working. But like you said, external traffic is huge. And I think if someone just went from Facebook to your listing, Amazon's going to like that. So I just run it to run it. I haven't done any YouTube videos. I know that there's a service where you can find someone in your niche, maybe. So like, say if you have like beach balls, I don't know why I said beach balls. I think we're going to the beach on this weekend, but say you have beach balls, well, you want to find like someone that loves to go to the beach.
an influencer. Yeah, an influencer.
Yeah, or a surfer or something that go in and they're YouTubing at the beach. Well, I think it's ZonJump that runs it. It is a cool service. They'll actually get your product to that person for you, and then they'll do a video review. So, I mean, there's stuff to market that way too. Or maybe you have a friend that is a surfer and he can do it for you. But there's different ways to market it. I've heard people making whole Instagrams and Facebook groups around their product. I actually just applied for a trademark today, so I'm probably going to start trying to grow my Facebook and grow my my Instagram, trying to grow a brand around my actual original store because they're all the same products. And
Awesome.
I think that's where you can really make a lot of money is when you brand. It's just like you're going to buy Nike over some different shoe that you'd ever heard of because Nike.
Exactly. So moving on, like I'm wondering, because you're getting what 45 something sales a day right now, which is just insane. And I want to know, you told me you weren't showing up on like page 1 for your main keyword for a while now. I was expecting you to be in like one of the top few spaces on the top list of page number 1 for that main keyword, but what the heck happened, man?
I don't know. Like, I really don't. I was talking to my investor and I was like, hey man, like we need to do this, this, and this. And he was listening to me. And this investor is really close to me. And he's had a business, not e-commerce. He's had a regular business for 20, 30 years. He works from his phone. He goes wherever he wants. He's just a true entrepreneur. So when I started this journey, I found a mentor, and that's who was my mentor. So if y'all are looking at doing this journey, find someone that's kind of done it. They don't have to do e-commerce. A business is a business. It's going to be the same. So I've been kind of listening to him. And, well, man, I was telling him, I don't know how we're getting these sales because we did an aggressive launch. We ranked up to like 5, and then we were getting like 20 to 25 sales a day. And I was like, okay, cool. And then I checked like 3 days later, and we're not on the first page, but we're still getting 25 sales. I wasn't complaining, but I was like, I don't know what's going on here. And I wasn't running heavy PPC. So, I mean, I'm guessing I was ranking for long tail keywords, which is important and interesting. Is that I got Amazon choice, but for Spanish word.
Weird.
So, yeah, if you want to throw Spanish words in your back, you go translate it directly in your back end, and you might be able to get Amazon choice. So I'm thinking that I had Amazon choice. Most people don't know, like, if the difference in Amazon choice. They see Amazon choice, and then all they see is, like, that's all they see. They don't see, like, Amazon choice for a certain word.
So it looks great on your product anyway. You got that badge there. It's looking good. And I didn't know even, I've talked to Amazon on the phone and they said I've heard YouTubers say don't even put Spanish words and other products ASINs in your back-end keywords, but apparently that's working.
Oh yeah, I don't do ASINs, but I had tried. I think I was watching whose video. They said, put a Spanish word back there. I was like, you know what? I'm going to throw it in there. So I threw in my Spanish back-end keywords. I got Amazon choice, but anyways, it's been about a week of not ranking. I'm guessing I'm ranking for very long tail keywords. Like, if you want to do beach ball, it would be like purple beach ball that floats, something like long, you know what I mean? Maybe I'm ranking for that. So I was like, I'm going to start running PPC hard. So I started running $200 a day, still profitable. Yeah, nuts.
Are you selling out of that? Are you getting close?
I'm at an A cost of about 19 to 20.
Nice.
And my margins were about 47, so I'm still really profitable. So yeah, I'm running $200 a day. It's nuts.
Dang. And by the way, guys, Clint's channel is going to be down below. He's started kind of documenting his YouTube journey right there. So I know he's kind of just been taking off with his channel. I'd appreciate you guys going to check him out. And also, if you're here, just go ahead and drop a like on the video. But I'm going to ask Clint now. I know you still have a 9-to-5 job. Is that correct?
Sort of. Kind of like part-time-ish, 9 to 5. I kind of I work still going to refineries. We do turnarounds, and it's kind of like at a contracting way. So they call me. I'll go to Houston for a week, so I can kind of turn them down when I want. But the reason why I'm doing it is because I want to be able to grow my business quickly. I want to 10x it. I want to make it double and triple and double. And the only way I can do that is if I continue working. So if I bite the bullet and work for a whole year and I grow my business like exponentially, instead of having to pull from it, it might not grow as fast. So I'm biting the bullet now, continuing to work. But I mean, the whole point of that question was, yes, it can be done with just having a 9 to 5. It takes you 30 minutes to run your Amazon every day. You check your ads, check your inventory, check where you're ranking, and then that's it. Like it's
real.
It's pretty passive.
What do you think is the hardest part? Well, I was going to ask you first, like, at what point do you think you're going to quit your 9 to 5? Like, at what point?
That's interesting you asked that. My wife and I were actually talking about it today, and I was like, you know what? I think I'm going to stick it out until December. I'm going to work all the way to the end of the year, and I'm going to reevaluate where I'm at in my business. And if I'm like somewhere where I think that, I can quit, then I will. If not, I'll continue to working until I get to where I need to be. I want to have enough money where I can sustain my business, obviously, and then continue to grow my business as well, and then still pull from it. So I have a certain number there, and I have a goal for 2020. I have it written right there, what I want in my bank account. So if I have to work for 2 more years and I have to have a bank account,
hell yeah. Okay. I'm going to go ahead and see, as for getting reviews, I know people are kind of like, what's the best way to get reviews? And I know some people would stay away from getting their immediate family to get those initial reviews, but it's not maybe too big of a deal. I know other people using big review services. One thing that might be a problem with those is that like when you use them, that review service is giving your product to a whole pool of people that are all buying and leaving the same reviews, and Amazon might catch on to that. But to a certain extent, it might be okay. It might be good to be getting that sales velocity, building that sales history. But how do you go about getting your reviews?
Yeah, so my first few products, I was in Tanner's group, and that's how to get my reviews. So I started to think like, man, you can't trust everybody.
Same here. That's how I got my reviews too, in that Facebook group, man, asking around.
Yeah, so you can't. A lot of people start doing that. I started to think like, well, what if I really hit a good product and I really don't want to tell anyone, but I need reviews? So you make contacts with people. Like I made it with Luke. I have another one of my good guys from from the group that I can trust, and there's a couple more guys I can trust, but that's only a small group of like 5, and I like to launch with 10 reviews. That's my goal. So I started looking at different services. Like you said, there's Panda Boom. I don't know about that service. It takes really long to get your reviews, but the cool thing about that is they give it to bloggers. That's specifically, they give it to bloggers. So I guess their whole thing is you pay for the review completely. And then the blogger goes and then they leave a review, and they also write about it on their blog.
That's good. Yeah,
you're kind of getting 2 little marketing. You're getting a review. There's other ways to get reviews. I mean, you can walk around on the street and pay someone $5 to give you a review. I mean, there's ways around it. A lot of people rely on other people. I wouldn't suggest review groups on Facebook because I think those are people just trying to steal your products. So just in like Tanner's group, I feel like a lot of people aren't having success and they want to take the shortcut of just taking your product. So I was kind of like, you know what? I'm not going to give them that benefit. So I went to Panda Boom trying to figure out how I could get reviews, and that's probably been the best way for me to get reviews.
I like that a lot, that they actually do. It's a blogger, because when you get your product out and it's Google, like, if their blog shows up on Google under the search term that your product is, under that main keyword, you're going to get traffic from Google, and it's going to be great. So with that out of the way, I wanted to ask you, what's the most time-consuming part? A lot of people say it's product research. How long does it really honestly take if you know good research methods to find a product? And like, what's the hardest part of Amazon for you?
I would say product research takes up most of my time. Negotiating with suppliers, but that's a given, trying to get your right price with them. But yeah, product research. I mean, there's been times where I sit down at the computer and I'm there for 2-3 hours and I don't find a product. And I think what separates a lot of people from being successful and not being successful on Amazon is they give up.
Yeah.
Like I mean, there's been times where I sat down on a computer and I found a product in 30 minutes, and there's been times where it's taking me 2 or 3 days. So I guess the most time-consuming thing, and yes, you get better at it. You can kind of recognize with even running Jungle Scout, like, it's probably not going to be a good product. You get really good at it, but it just takes practice. It's just like when you're a kid, you know what I mean? You didn't know math, but now you know math because you practiced at it. But I definitely say product research is definitely the most time-consuming.
And are you using just one method? Because in the beginning, I literally thought it was like, oh, there's like one method to do product research. Now when I sit down, I'm doing 5 or 6 different. I'm just going through as many rabbit holes as I possibly can. Like, how do you do it?
Yeah, I use tons of methods. I'll do the auto-populate on Amazon. I'll look at Amazon's bestsellers and then go to a subcategory of those bestsellers and then go to that subcategory, like really go in depth in the niche. So it's like if you're looking at beach balls, you would probably be in the subcategory of beach, beach wear, and then you go like to toys, beach toys, water toys. You go all the way down these subcategories and you find products that are selling well and they're not that competitive. There's jumps in, like you said, you can snipe products, which is nothing wrong, man. I mean, entrepreneurship is just, it's not making something new. It's reinventing. It's not reinventing the wheel. You know what I mean? You're just copying and making better. It's basically what it is.
And that's one of the biggest keys that everyone needs to understand when they start selling on Amazon, because they'll see a hot selling product, and if you don't differentiate, you're dead in the water. But you can go take a pretty competitive product, actually, and if you have a budget to go ahead and start a great launch, then you're going to be able to just put the better bundle together. As long as you can make a better value and get something that the other competitors don't have, even if they have 300 reviews and you have 0, if you move up to like 20 reviews, but you have something that's just a necessity that no one else is selling, then you never know. Like that's all coming down to bundle and creating the value. And you can even sell for a higher price at that point too.
Yeah, I think like the product I'm in with my investor, it's pretty competitive. If you run the Jungle Scout numbers, I think out of the top 10, I want to say over 5 or 6 are over 100. And then the 4 under 75. So I was like, man, it's kind of competitive, but I think I can get in. I think I can make it different. And then I think I can, get in there with his budget. Obviously, I think his budget is what really got me launched. My expertise in Amazon, but his cash flow definitely helped out. But I mean, that's just being an entrepreneur, taking advantage of what you have in front of you and making it better. But yeah, I mean, you can make something better. I mean, someone's going to buy it. Look at the negative. That's another product research. Mm-hmm. A lot of people don't really go in depth in the product. So you find a product and they're like, oh, it's good, let's go. Well, no, I read the negative reviews big time. Even the 3-star reviews, that's huge. Because people are actually being honest. Usually the 1-star reviews are people that are just pissed off. You know what I mean? It really is. It makes me mad. Like, come on, like, I put an insert card in all my products. So I say, like, hey, thank you for purchasing the beach ball, whatever. And if you have any problems with your product, please contact us before you leave a review. And that's actually saved me a lot of times with negative reviews. So if you are looking at sourcing a product, put an insert card in there and say, hey, thanks for the purchase. If you have a problem, please contact us and we can get it fixed. Mm-hmm. But yeah, you can look at negative reviews and that'll tell you a lot about the product. Maybe they're saying the beach ball's popping, or when we blow it up, it didn't last, the air wasn't holding. So your suppliers can do anything. They really can. They make everything over there in China. They really do. So they can do anything. Honestly.
So you were talking about how you were kind of got a nice bit of funding from your investor. Yeah. I was going to ask you, if there's a brand new Amazon seller out there, number one, how many units would you recommend them getting their feet wet with their first product? Because the first product, man, some people are told get 500 units, and you don't have a lot of experience when you get your first product. So I do not recommend that at all. And how many units would you recommend someone start with, and kind of the cost of starting up their whole Amazon business? I always recommend at least getting a course so you avoid a lot of the pitfalls. You speed your time up learning everything. And so what do you think about the startup cost and then the how many units?
Yeah, I think with startup costs, I mean, to be honest, I think you can source. I'm actually sourcing a product. This next one coming up next month, it's going to cost me about $1,500 to start, and that's with 500 units. So that's a great, I ended up getting it really cheap. It was awesome. But I know with this one product with Investor, I actually ordered 1,000 initial units, and that was a huge investment, made me very nervous, a lot of money. But I did my research, but yeah, I would recommend, I would look at spending 13 to 3,000. That's honestly how much, because you gotta take into account, you gotta get your reviews. And a lot of people don't understand this. Then you have to run your PPC, which you're probably going to be losing money on for probably the first week, because you're trying to figure out what people are buying on.
Yeah.
If you're going to do a launch service, that's going to cost you an additional $200, so you want that wiggle room. And I wouldn't, I wouldn't go with 500 unless you're completely sure, like, you've done your research, and I actually went with 500 on my first product, and it was a failure, but I was able to sell out. So if you do go with 500, make sure your margins are big enough. And I'm not talking like you're going to make your margins bigger. If the market is selling for $20, don't say, well, my margins are big enough if I sell for 24. You're probably not going to sell for 24 bucks. You know what I mean? Make sure your margins are big enough. Like, say the whole market's selling at 20, make sure you're at like a 60% margin. So in case, or 50% margin. So in case you don't sell, you can always lower your price and get out. That was my case with my first one. I bought 500 units. I spent about $3,000 total. That's with launch and PPC and everything. So I think I went with 500 units, but I would say anywhere from 300 to 500. If you're really not sure, and say you take Luke's course, you can just shoot him a message. I'm sure he's doing mentorship in his course. You can shoot him a message, say, hey man, what do you think of this? And Luke's had experience. He's launched products. Even if he has a question and I don't know it, or I have a question and I don't know what I'm doing, I ask Luke, or same way, vice versa. And you create a good network of people. So, I mean, if y'all don't have the course, or you don't have a course, use someone that's already done it to kind of like answer your questions. If you're really not sure about buying 300 units, and it kind of depends on the market. If the top 20 people are selling 1,500 a month, 300 units is probably not going to get you ranked. More than likely, you're going to give away all your units. So
yeah,
that kind of depends too. But maybe that's a product you want to keep in your back pocket. Maybe you find a product that's selling 1,000 a month, but you want to keep in your back pocket and we get some experience, get your feet wet with 300 unit product. Once you sell good there, then you go jump in. But I wouldn't jump in $10,000 in and you're screaming at Luke saying, like, why didn't you teach me that?
Well, hey, we got Collie Park stepping up. What's up, Collie Park? This is one of my friends. He flew me out to Cali, and I helped him sell one of his big ticket items, and he's been making some sales with that. Yeah, so that's awesome, man. But that's what comes down to this, guys. Literally, I had the college degree. It's up there on my wall, and I was literally ready to go ahead and sign away 40 years of my life. And then I realized entrepreneurship's the way to do it. I can work for myself, and straight up, like, I'm now meeting people all around the world. I mean, Collie Park just stepping it up in Cali. We got Clint coming out of Texas. You're in Texas, right?
Yeah.
And people from the UK, like Thailand, like, it's insane. And once you get that time freedom and your business is up and running, you can go travel, you can meet up with people, start a YouTube channel. I think YouTube's really important to an entrepreneurship journey to build that brand with yourself and everything else that goes around it. But it's just insane, guys. Like, I'm literally happy. I got my crutches back there. I broke my leg for the second time. Let's go. Okay. Last year when I broke my leg, it was May 9th last year. So literally I broke my leg again on 3 days ago. So that's when I started my Amazon business. I had 2 months off of my job. I sat in bed. I literally watched YouTube videos and hustled the hell out of it and literally learned how to do this. And from there, like, it changed my whole life. So moving on, man, I'm hyped,
Yeah.
But
Another cell here. I haven't had a cell in a while.
Yeah, can you just flash those numbers real quick, just for the homies watching at home right now? Yes, yeah. Collie Park, I broke my leg again.
Yeah, I sold 46 yesterday. Our sales keep going up and up. 44 today so far, and it's 9 o'clock here, so we still have till 2 a.m. on the West Coast, but yeah.
11K.
It's pretty nuts. And then I have my other store. I sold about 10. I'm out of stock of 2 products in my other store. So I'm about 9 right now at the other store. So not bad. So.
Okay. Looking in here, moving on. I was going to ask you when, and if anyone's wondering how I broke my leg, literally I just got home from Cancun, Mexico with my friends. I was doing some front flips off a big sand barrier, and I just landed in a hole and my ankles snapped in the same place it did before. But this break is really not even that bad, so I should be healed up in about a month. That's all the time I need to hustle it out laying in bed for a month, so I'm excited about that. Moving on. I was gonna ask you, Clint, when do you? I wrote some notes down here. That's what I'm looking down. But when do you feel confident to enter into a new market? You know, like when do you know the numbers are good? Not just by Jungle Scout or Viral Launch. When do you know you're officially ready to drop some paper stacks?
Yeah. Well, like I said earlier, you got to really get in depth with the market. Most people see a product and they're like, "Oh, sales are good, everything's good, let's go." I make sure I study my competitors. I make sure I get with my suppliers, make sure I can get a good price and I can get a supplier I trust. I have yet to get a sample on any of my products. You know, I don't know why I just don't get a sample. I don't want to waste time, I guess. I don't know. But anyways, yeah, I make sure like the market is also like it's good. So I go back on Camel, type in the ASIN, or you can use Keepa. I think that's another extension you can use, Keepa. And it shows you the price over a year. So my rule is, I want good sales for a whole year. I don't want a trending product. And I want to be able to get into the market. I want my margins good. I want to know that I can make it better and that people are complaining about a certain thing that I can change.
Yep.
And then once I find out all that stuff, I go to my supplier and I'm like, hey, you know what? Can you do this, this, and this? They say yes. I get my costs and my numbers are right. And I pull the trigger. So, I do all the research and then I pull the trigger. I don't like to hesitate too much, but you got to do your due diligence and figure out, is this product really worth it? Also, you got to see if it's gated. That's a big problem a lot of people run into. They don't see if it's gated.
How do you go about checking that out? I usually call seller support and I read them an ASIN of a competing product. I ask, is there any restrictions on this? How do you do that?
Yeah, that's the way I do it. I call them, and then also I think you can Google the gated categories, but it's better just to call them. Try to call them during the day, because if you call after hours, you can get someone foreign, and they're not going to understand you. And I
always recommend I have like Keepa and just literally everything we talk about. I threw it all in my course, literally 65 videos of this stuff and how to contact seller support. You want to ask for a U.S. representative right out the gate. Otherwise, they're going to be beating around the bush. The other foreign guys, they don't have the resources that they do in the United States to give you all the ungating powers. It's them who are going to help you out. And Collie Park knows this for a fact. Literally, we got a U.S. representative on the phone, and they helped reimburse him like quite a few months of seller fees that he hadn't been selling. So we got all that squared away. And yeah, man. So just a couple more questions, and we'll probably wrap it up. But I was going to ask you pretty much... I know Amazon's opening in a whole bunch of new markets. The Australian market just opened. Tanner Fox, I think, was talking about getting into that market. What do you think about building your business and start moving into the European market, Germany, UK, Australia, bringing some competitive products in the US and start fresh in these new markets and be one of the first movers to that?
Yeah, I think that's going to be a big deal. I think my plan, I've kind of thought about that, but I think my plan right now is to actually build a brand around a couple of my products. And then after I have that brand recognition and that brand awareness and, actually have a sustainable brand, I think I want to take it to the UK market or take it to the Australian market, because I already have a brand. It's already branded. Build a whole website around it. I've heard of people growing products so much that they got bought out by a huge company.
Yep.
So you create a good brand and you actually look legit, and you go into an Australian market and these people think you're legit. You're like, oh man, this must be a huge business. But they don't know that you're sitting on your couch ordering for China, sitting into Amazon. So I definitely think there's a big market in that. I know the UK market is growing. I think I follow some people on Instagram that are in the UK market, and they're posting their sales every day, and they're making some good money. So keep my eye on that. Not right now. I'm trying to grow my business, but definitely after I build a brand around certain products, I'm going to try to get into that. It's always good to expand and get multiple flows. Always good to get multiple flows. And
it's not too bad to kind of wait and feel out these new markets, because actually I was listening to a podcast, and this guy was talking about he's a multi-million-dollar seller up in Canada, and up in Canada, but he's straight up talking about like the fees are a lot higher up there actually to ship around, because a lot of the places are like, there's Vancouver, there's some big Toronto, some big cities and stuff, but then there's all these outskirt places that if people order something, it's like you're shipping out there. So Amazon fees are higher in different countries, and that's something to look into before jumping into those markets actually.
Yeah, I heard that. I heard that actually Canada charges a higher fee from, I guess, importing from China. They charge you an extra fee. So
Damn.
I don't know if I want to go to the Canada market. I know that Dan Voss, he's actually thought that Canada was going to be less competitive. He said in one of his YouTube videos, and he said that, I went to the Canada market, can't even speak. He went to the Canada market, and then he said that he actually was wrong, that there was just not enough sales there. So that would be something that, I guess you got to look in with the European market. I guess you have to figure out if the UK market, I know it's growing, and the Australian market, it's interesting that Tanner got in that market. It's kind of interesting that he went there, so I wonder why. So
he's got all that money. He's got a ability to test it out. And one thing is that, when you start a YouTube channel, when you get into these Facebook groups, you meet people like Johnny Bradley's one of these guys that he's a UK seller and started at the same time as me with Tanner's course, and he's in the UK just killing it right now. He made his own course. He's got 4,000 subscribers, and he's just doing his thing over there. And that's someone that he knows me. We've shared messages on Facebook, and we can talk back and forth. I can ask him, how is it selling over there, and get a real live person who can tell me exactly. And that's what the benefits of like branching out, and it's you can work from your computer, so it's no biggie.
Yeah, it's the best part. I just got to sell too. I didn't know if you want to know that. So 45 today.
45 sales in one day, man.
We hit 50. I hope, I had like 25 at lunch, so I was like, golly. Anyway.
Wow. Okay. So we were kind of talking about the different marketplaces. I see a couple new people just joined in. If you guys want to watch the rerun of this, it's going to be up shortly after this one is over. We covered a lot of good questions. I had a bunch of stuff written out for Clint today. And if you want to check out his channel, it's down below. He's killing it, like literally 11 grand in a week in revenue, and he's been doing it consistently. We'll end up with some final words just after this question. A lot of people say, is Amazon too saturated?
No. No, it's not. Amazon's not going anywhere. I think they released a stat. They're growing at a rate where I don't think enough sellers can join. I think someone posted that the other day. They're growing at such a fast rate, the sellers can't even keep up with it. So, I mean, they're adding, I think they're adding I don't know how many products a day, new products, new types of products. People are inventing things, and it's not going anywhere. E-commerce is the way of the future. Tell your mom and dad that that's going to be your job. If they don't like it, then you know what, man, show them. If they don't like it, show them. Show them that you can do it. I mean, they're guilty of it too. My parents, they order stuff from Amazon all the time. I'm like, you're just ordering from like a person like me. It really is a business, and that's the biggest thing is it's a business. Treat it like a business, and it'll pay you like a business. So
it's damn straight, man, and doesn't matter your age either. I've been talking to this guy. He's like 75 years old. He wants to take my course. He's lifelong entrepreneur. I've had a 14-year-old I've been helping out, and he made quite a bit of money back in last summer and stuff. And then he got into Shopify and crypto. And this, when you're that young, I realize these guys have so much leeway. They don't care about risk. They just hop into a lot of different things. But there are people now, I straight up want to go be like a speaker at some high school or college and just like literally stand up at assemblies and like be a speaker at those things and tell them what they can do, the possibilities out there.
No, it's about how much work you want to put in and how much, you really want to commit yourself to your goal. I mean, in no means you have to be like Tanner J. Fox and get a freaking Lamborghini, or like the Derek Struggles and get that Lamborghinis, and Dan Foss traveling everywhere. I mean, if you just want $7,000 or $9,000 to extra a month, or you want to maybe make 15 and you're fine with that, that's cool, man. Wealth is defined differently to everyone. You know what I mean? If you want to make 30,000, my whole goal is to support, pay off our cars, and I don't have a Lamborghini. I have F-150 generic. Pay off that, pay off my wife's car, and just, get a house in a couple of years, not worry about paying the bills. That's my whole goal.
Yeah.
Not have to worry about paying, paycheck to paycheck, am I going to make the bills this month? Am I going to, do all that stuff? I don't want to have to worry about that. I want to be able to travel. It's just stuff like that. That's what motivates me, And you can get caught up in the Lamborghinis and the huge mansions, but if that's not for you, you don't have to do that. You can have a goal of just having, a house paid for, or your house paid off. If you're 30, 40 years old and you have a mortgage and, you want to pay it off, If that's what motivates you, that's great. But wealth is defined differently to all people. So don't get intimidated when you see those guys on Amazon gurus. I mean, I know that Luke doesn't have a Lamborghini, so I don't think he wants one either. So
not really. I'd prefer a bunch of skateboards, a skate park in my backyard, and just all the time in the world to myself and the relationships I want to build, spend money on my health, get nice and fit, spend money on just great food, and just living the best life I can, you know?
Yep, that's true.
So I think, I mean, we're getting on a roll. I like it when we get a little into it. I get more excited and stuff. But I don't know. We're going to have to re-intervene with this soon again because we're going on 40 minutes. I just want to ask you, Clint, is there anything else you want to share with people that are looking to start selling? I always end these interviews with kind of like the people that are watching this that want to start selling on Amazon and haven't pulled the trigger yet. Like, I mean, I literally just made a course for this, and it's right down below in the description, literally 65 videos of this, but, like...
I'll go buy it right now.
Buy that. But, like, Clint, what do we need to know? What's going to push people over the edge? Is it easy? Like, if you put in the time and, like, what is it?
Yeah, I mean, I kind of live by a little quote, you know, and I'm sure you listen to this podcast, and it's a real good podcast. It's one of our good friends, you know, Profit Gains.
Yeah.
And they always say, you know, all hard work leads to a profit. And it's not completely just easy. It's not, you know what I mean? It's not going to be easy. You're going to have times where you're not selling and you're like, crap, what did I just do? Did I throw $3,000 down? But that you can't let that get you down. You have to continue moving, continue growing. I think they have like a little graph picture of an entrepreneurship. It's like, oh, I'm winning. Oh, no, I'm not. Oh, I'm winning. And you're scrolling like that the whole time. And finally, you hit that one. And I mean, my first 2 products were failures. And I call them failures, not that I lost money, but, you know, I got my money back. But just keep trying, keep doing it, and jump into it, you know. And there's a lot of risk in it, but there's a lot of reward in it. And if you really, truly study the product, truly study what you're doing, and you immerse yourself in Amazon FBA, learn about everything you can. Literally, I was staying up. My wife and I just talked about it tonight because I have a buddy that's trying to get into Amazon FBA, and he's not really... You know, he's trying a little bit, but not really. He's busy with his job. I understand completely. But I told my wife, I was like, man, I was staying up from like 11 to 4 in the morning. And then, like, trying to learn Amazon, man. Like, I was looking at videos. I was trying to learn about product research. And, you know, it meant that much to me. You got to find your why, like you asked earlier. You find your why, and then you'll be able to do it. You find why you're doing it and what drives you. It's going to push you over the edge. It's going to, you know, there's no other way.
And you can minimize the risk by, again, like Clint said, just jump into Facebook groups, YouTube videos. That's all I did to start. I just immersed myself, and I got literally obsessed with the fact of not staying up at night thinking of wild, lavish dreams of me winning the lottery. Now it's a real thing that I can literally obtain. So start learning the things. You can also minimize risk by starting with a smaller order quantity, 100, 200 units, a smaller budget. And as long as you're doing something that, like, as long as you've taken a course, invested in yourself, people will go spend all their money on the newest iPhone and literally, like, just blow it there and not even spend, like, 300, 400 bucks to go invest in their brain and literally change their whole future, you know?
Yeah, I actually just purchased a course, not an Amazon course, but another course today or yesterday. So... I mean, I'm always trying to learn, trying to grow, trying to make multiple streams of revenue. So, I mean, it's always about learning. And, I mean, pick up his course and, you know, you won't regret it. You're going to have him to help you out and mentor. So it's not like you're alone. It's not like you're going to get the course and you're never going to hear from Luke. He's going to be active in the Facebook group. You know what I mean? So that was one of the biggest things about Tanner's course. You know, I heard from him for about a month. And after that, I was kind of on my own. So I connected with Luke. I connected with a lot of other people. And that's how I started to learn. So you can definitely double, triple your growth by being, you know, having that direct contact to Luke. So, I mean, that's a big deal. If you get in a course, I mean, I would recommend Luke's course, obviously. But, I mean, if you don't even go to Luke's course, you get a different course. I mean, you have to look at who's selling you the course and
how big their following is as well, because Tanner Fox is not going to reply to you. Even when he had a smaller channel, he would give like 2-word replies. I'm here like for free just typing out like essays to people explaining everything in depth. And that's one thing that I learned in kind of college as trying to be a journalist and stuff, like just really explaining things really well. And I mean, Tanner just kind of, he was there to say, like, it's pretty good, it's too competitive, or
Yep.
like keep looking. Those were his three like catchphrases that people branded him by, and it was like almost funny to just people just laughed at that stuff. So I mean,
Yep.
for me, I got a smaller channel. It's not huge. I'm literally trying to provide the best value I can. I'm not trying to take anyone's money and ruin my own reputation online. I literally want people to succeed from my course so then they can pay it forward, go tell other people what they've learned, and it all starts there.
Yeah, it's all about helping each other out and growing. I mean, me and Luke obviously are both on Amazon. You probably all think like, oh, I'm competing against these guys, but in the end, man, there's so many products like that. It's just like it doesn't matter if we compete or not. Even if we have the same product and we're both on the first page, we're both going to sell 300 to 400 units a month. It doesn't matter. We both win. So find someone that has like-minded and has a lot of knowledge, and you're going to grow faster. And find a mentor, man. It doesn't even have to be an FBA mentor. It's just find someone that's done it. Like my mentors, he's owned his oilfield company for 20 years. You know what I mean? And he works from his phone, has no employees. Like he has a perfect business setup. Yeah, it's nuts. So like he helped me out. More of the financial. He's helping me out. Hey, maybe you should do this. He actually made the suggestion of continue working. He's like, hey man, I would continue working and let that thing grow.
Yeah.
So people have done it before you. It doesn't even have to be e-commerce. It can be any business. So find someone that has a lot of knowledge. It doesn't have to be personal either. You can follow Luke, or you can follow me, or you can follow someone on YouTube. That's just the same thing. If they have the same mindset as that. But if you have any questions, guys, you can always hit me up on Instagram too.